Hello, in today's video we would like to explore some of the project monitoring capabilities that are available on the EO4SD Lab. Project monitoring is a way in which you can set up the lab to automatically generate a time series of EO geospatial products over a particular location to help you understand any changes over time that may occur on that location. The EO4SD Lab has specific dedicated project monitoring tools and interfaces which we will explore in this video. To access these, you can either click on the project monitoring link available through the EO4SD Lab web portal, or you can also click on the project monitoring tab on the EO4SD Lab application itself. When I click on that, it will basically load up the initial overview of the projects, which will basically provide you a geographic distribution of the various projects which have been set up and that you have access to. As I am logged in as an administrator, I have access to all of the projects that are available on the EO4SD Lab. So one thing we can do is look at the different projects. As you can see, there's a lot of distribution of different types of projects, be it vegetation, buildings, water projects, etc. And let us choose one to look at specifically. So I think this reservoir project is quite interesting. So we can center on that, and basically it will center the map. And if you want to basically explore the time series, you can simply click on the Analyze Project button, and it will basically load up a time series of data. So what you get is basically a viewing interface and then a time series along the bottom here, which will include basically the products that you have set up to be regularly monitored. In this case, we are using the True Color Monitoring service, which allows you to basically create Sentinel-2 True Color images on a regular basis. So within the time series, if I zoom in a bit and go back to the start, we can see that the first Sentinel-2 time series product was generated in 2019, and as you can flick through, you can sort of see the changes in the land cover as the reservoir, in this case, was developed and the dam itself has been finished construction. So as we can go through it, you can see different things. You can click through it simply with this button, or you can actually hover over the particular icons and you see. So as you can see, for a long period of time, the dam has been under construction, and then quite recently, the dam has started to be flooded. And you can sort of see that between 2020 and the end of the year, there has been the actual flooding of the reservoir. So this basically allows you to basically understand the changes in your site location in a way which allows it to automatically be generated and consolidated together. Other tools we have, we can zoom in, zoom out, we can take snapshots of the current view location. We also have the ability to basically add in reference data and EO data, which we will show you how to do shortly. So this is the main interface we would like to use. So how do we actually set up the project monitoring to take what we call an incident on the EO4SD Lab? Incident is where a user will define the geospatial products that they want to create, the location of interest, and the time period in which they want the products to be generated. So this is done in two steps within the Manage and Share panel. First of all, there is the creation of the incident, and secondly, there is the selection of the incident type. So if you go to the incidents panel, you can create a new incident, and you can see that gives you information such as the incident type, name, description, time period. So let's go through a quick example. So incident type is basically a predefined selection of services which can be ran together quickly to allow you to create a variety of products which can be viewed together within the time series. Incident types have been predefined by the EO4SD Lab administration and advanced users, and individual users can effectively copy these service collections. So for example, if we look at the incident types, these can be defined as things like for particular locations, in this case looking at some SAR processing and Sentinel-1, optical processing to look at changes in surface deformation after an incident in MIMAR. There's also thematically specific projects such as water monitoring, which allows you to basically collect together different services together for particular thematic areas. And within each of these processing templates, you can also define things like the input parameters, the method of running. It can be done as a data-driven, which basically runs every time there's a new data set which is available, which meets the parameters. Time-driven, where a user will define how frequently the data will be produced, and one-off, where it just is produced at a single time, and even more advanced parameters such as the mission, etc. And you can also modify things like cloud cover, which are going to be very important when you are looking at optical imagery, particularly where you want to basically have less frequent images but of better quality, rather than frequent images. So that's a way basically you can effectively set up an individual collection of processing activities, which basically helps you streamline your creation of incidents to allow you to basically produce the various different products that you want. So if we go back to incidents, then let's create a sample incident. So in this case, let's use the water monitoring incident type, as we talked about earlier, which will basically allow us to basically collect these three different services products. So Sentinel-2 TrueColor, NDWI, which is a water index, and the NDVI, which is a vegetation index. And you also have the ability to modify and switch on or switch off the particular instance you would like yourself. And then in case you can also do things like modify the input retrieval values and processing configuration values, as we have shown in the previous instance. So you can basically modify the cloud cover to fit your particular needs. But let's use the defaults for now. Let's define a name of a water test example. Description, let's create an incident over a location in Ireland. So let's look at Lough Neagh in the central part of Northern Ireland, which is quite a large inland water body, which might be of interest to look at. And we can talk about that being Lough Neagh. And for things like time periods, we can set it up. So let's set it for, you can set it for a long period of time, but let's set it for the start of February time until time in the future. So let's say until June 2021. And you also have the ability to effectively add different data sets. So it allows you to basically add in additional EO data, which you may not want to run in the processing, but may be a relevance. For example, if you had high resolution optical data or high resolution satellite data or airborne or drone data, that might be useful. And also reference data, which, for example, it could be any sort of mapping products which have been generated offline, which you would again like to upload to the system. So basically, we don't have any examples for that at the moment, but you can basically create collections for your incidents, and then you can basically view them alongside your particular products. So let's set that up, and let's save that as a new incident. So now the incident is selected, and as you can see now, things have been updated. So basically it does give you some more information, and basically it has set up a range of systematic processing activities for your particular location. So for example, if we looked at the NDWI list, you can sort of see systematic processing has been set up for here, which basically defines the start dates, the end dates, and products, and the locations and maximum cloud cover. So they'll all be set up to be run automatically without the user instructing anything in the platform. So we've just set that up, so the platform will basically go and interrogate the EO catalogs and identify any particular input images that they want to process, and then it will basically set up the systematic processing. So let's wait for a short while, and then we can actually view the results in the project monitoring tab. So now it's been a bit of time since we set up the systematic processing, so let's see the results in the project monitoring tab. So first thing is we should click on the project monitoring tab, which will open up a new window, which I've done already. And here you'll basically give an overview of the project listings. So let's look for our particular example. So we have the water test example. Let's zoom there. So I have slightly modified the time range of this service to basically run from early 2020 until quite recently. So what you can basically see is a range of different products available across the way, and basically users can you can either click through the time series, or you can basically hover over an individual product and see how that visualizes in this thing. So here we can sort of see there's 3 products we created. So there's the NDWI, which basically highlights areas of water bodies, NDVI, which basically highlights the areas of vibrant vegetation, and in this case you can sort of see there's a certain amount of cloud cover, and then there's going to be the true color images from Sentinel-2. So it does give the users the ability to quickly flick through different products and go through them, and you can obviously do things like rearrange the visibility of the products, so you can sort of see that the NDWI images are now on the top, which allows you to basically look at different things quite quickly. So that's basically a quick overview of the project monitoring capabilities on the EO4SD Lab. Finally, users can also use the EO Wiki to visualize their time series and also to create maps which can be shared with other users. EO Wiki can be accessed through the EO Wiki tab on the Explorer panel, and that will take you to this front page, which you can search for available data layers and generated maps. So to see one of the maps we had created earlier from a time series, we can click on the maps and we can identify this one here, the Tesla Gigafactory that's been developed in Germany. And you can see that this has basically been generated with the processing project monitoring setup that has been developed by another colleague. And once we look at the map, we can see the various different images taken over a period of time. These are Sentinel-2 images showing the development of the Tesla Gigafactory, and you can see in this time series identified blocks where images have been created, and we can simply click through this and you can see changes in development, things like cloud cover, changes levels of illumination as the factory itself has been developed. And there's various settings here which can speed up or slow down the level of speed of which the images are clicked through. So as you can see here, there has been the development of the road network in this particular site over the period of time. The mapping view is also very useful because it allows you to basically either directly share the maps with anyone by basically providing the URL, and you can also basically additionally add in whatever layers that you would want to the system. So for example, there's all the products that have been generated on the EO4SD Lab itself, as well as other things, so they can all be added to the system. So this is a complementary way in which you can basically prepare maps for wider publication, as opposed to the project monitoring tool, which is there for you to analyze and explore data on the lab with your colleagues. If you have any questions, please let us know through the support at EO4SD Lab net email address. Thank you.